Good morning, guys. You can control the power of your mind with determination. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I feel the energy of my one word. When I say the word determination, it means so much to me. As you know, it's become my purpose. It's become my very essence, my very being. It was always there. I just know it now, and it's my life purpose. It means making a determination means deciding. It means never giving up until it's done. You have your purpose in you. You have a truth principle that we're all made up of, which all converges all onto one thing anyhow. And all you need to do is find yours. Or if you don't even know yours, I want you to know you're already living your purpose. You know, you giving me your attention here, you have no idea how much it's helping me. I am so grateful. So wherever you are, you can control the power of your mind with your purpose. Have a great day, everybody.
The thing is to get really close to that fear. So what we usually do
Embrace
is
it.
embrace it, get close to it, get intimate with it. We
Become the bat. Sit in the bat cave.
literally, yeah.
embrace the fear.
Totally.
Yeah.
We run away from fear. We like to run away and go, oh, it's not coming with me. Or what we do is we hear one thing and we define the whole understanding of our fear based on that one thing.
Yes.
So it's like someone, and I'll give you a normal example in a normal life scenario.
Yes.
Someone says to you in the office, you know that they're going to cut a few people. And you don't even check. You don't even know.
it real?
And
Is
now
it-
you just made it real, and now you're running with it, and you're trying to run away from it. So you're trying to avoid conversations with your boss. You're trying to avoid any conflict. You're trying to, you're just
That's a great
you're
example.
just trying to avoid it. And so actually, what you need to do is go, okay, let me actually discover that fear. Let me go intimate with that fear. Let me ask myself, where's that fear coming from? What am I really scared of? What am I really scared of? Am I really scared of losing my job? Am I scared of not having any money? What am I really scared of? And when you get to the root, and I call it the why ladder in the book. So it's asking yourself, what am I scared of? And then go, why am I scared of this? Why am I scared of this? Why am I scared of this? And when you can't ask why any longer, you've got to the answer, and that's what you have to deal with. Most of us are not dealing with what we're actually scared of.
The root.
So that's how you let go. You let go by keep asking yourself. So I'll give you an example of mine. Like if I heard that, or if you hear that in your office that people are getting cut, it's like you just get scared and panicked. But the question is, why am I scared of that? Am I scared of that because I haven't been working hard for 6 months? Am I scared of that because I've been skipping meetings? Am I scared of that because I know my boss will probably fire me first? Or am I scared because I've been performing really well and I'm expecting a promotion? Knowing which one it is sets you up to build the path forward. Not knowing that just puts you in this panic frenzy.
My biggest fear is disappointing people. My biggest fear is that people will watch one of my videos, will buy my book, will come to one of my seminars or speeches or whatever and feel like, well, that was a giant waste of time. I don't know ultimately where it comes from, but that's my biggest fear, and it's honestly made me play small my whole life. And the trick that I found is that I just need to, when I can recognize it, I can do something about it. I think most of the time we play small by default. Most of the time we find a reason why we can't do something, and we justify the reason, we believe the reason. So for example, if I'm afraid to make videos, in the beginning I was very afraid to make videos, and I wouldn't make a video until my friend would come and film it and it looked professional. I had to have the perfect script, and if you go back and watch my first video, I did it on Walt Disney Story, and it was filmed professionally by my friend Mark Drager, shout out to you. And I had the perfect script, and I was trying to memorize it, and I couldn't memorize enough, and so I was mostly voiceover, where I read a script and I memorized a few lines, and then we did B-roll over my talking points, because I was so concerned that if I said the wrong thing, then people might be disappointed. That's taken a lot of unwinding to do. I used to, with interviews, I used to want to know what the questions were going to be in advance, because I felt like I want to be able to give good answers. I didn't want to disappoint the audience of whoever, if I'm being interviewed on somebody's show, I want them to have a great show. I don't want to be a terrible guest. I want them to feel like this was really valuable and that I shared my best information and knowledge and gave great value to their audience. And so I always wanted to know, what questions do you want to have me answer. That ended up being a mistake, because when I knew the questions, I could give good information, but it was almost robotic because the answers were rehearsed. Where what I've learned is it's much more about the emotion than it is about the exact words. People remember how you make them feel. Maya Angelou, right? People will remember how you make them feel. And if everything is memorized and perfect and scripted, then the feeling isn't there, because you're so worried about memorizing and saying the exact right word that then there's no emotion there. There's no emotion in what you're saying, what you're creating, what you're producing. Then it's not going to move anybody to any kind of action. And that took a lot of unwinding to do, to be honest. And it led me to the point where whenever I can catch it, it's like, how do you get through it? Whenever you can catch it, to take the action that would make you proud. So this is, a decade plus of me unwinding this and taking slow progress and action, and hopefully you can get there a lot faster by even just recognizing that as a problem and watching videos like this. But I did a couple things. So anytime you can catch it, you take the action to make you proud. So why do I want to have all the questions in advance of an interview? Well, the logical story in my head is because I want to give a lot of value to the audience. Underneath that is the fear that I'm going to disappoint them. Oh, it's showing up again. Okay. So now I have to take corrective action, which is I don't want to have any questions in advance, which freaked me out, right? Like, but what if X happens? It freaked me out. Because it freaked me out, I had to go off and do it. You start to teach yourself. Are you the kind of person who does the things that freak you out or not? I don't think I had any total train wrecks or total disasters, but I ended up making everything so much stronger, so much better, and so much more fun too, that I could just be myself and show up and answer questions and have a much better time with the host than otherwise, than me being stressed out about getting the right answers done all the time. On the flip side, for doing interviews, I would always stress out too about disappointing the guest and disappointing the audience, and feeling like I would stress out. I think about having Tony Robbins on the channel, or Matthew McConaughey on the channel, or all these people that I've interviewed on the channel. Honestly, at the beginning, maybe a week leading up to it, I'd be stressed out. Researching, memorizing, asking myself what questions I want to ask, running the story over and over and over and over and over and over again in my mind, in my head. Just a wreck. I was a total wreck. It's all I could focus on because I was so stressed out about doing a good interview and getting their story out and giving value to them and to you guys, and not, the fear underneath that is disappointing. I didn't want to disappoint Tony, and I didn't want to disappoint you guys in the audience. And the breaking of that came down to, it's going to be a lot better if it's more natural. It doesn't mean I stopped doing research, but my solution has been, I find an angle that I want to pull on. I find a thread that I want to pull on. And once I find that thread, I stop stressing and worrying about the interview. So yesterday I had Alex Hormozi on my channel, and we did an Instagram Live. And I don't know Alex super well. We've connected a little bit on DMs on Instagram, but I'd never done a interview, haven't met him yet in person, at least at the time of this recording. And I watched some of his videos and I looked at his story, and I found the angle that I wanted to go down. I found the thread I wanted to pull on. And once I did that, I stopped researching the story. And now I can get to, within a couple hours of researching somebody, knowing what I want to talk to them about and where we can find our conversation will be different than others. And I still stress out before an interview, before I'm interviewing somebody, but it's now maybe an hour, it's 45 minutes or an hour of stressing out as opposed to a week. I've played small my whole life based off of this fear of disappointing other people. Who's gonna see me fail, and are they gonna feel like they wasted their time or money? And as a result, it's led to a much smaller life and lower impact than what I'm capable of doing. And similar for you, you know, you've got fears and insecurities and doubts and worried about judgment or losing love or whatever it is, and it's keeping you small. And the point of that is not to beat yourself up. It's not to beat myself up and say, oh wow, I suck now because I'm not doing it. It's to realize, hey, I've still got a long life ahead. You've still got so many years ahead of you to live the life that you want and to have a big impact and to build the business that you want to build. You can still do all of that. And recognizing what your biggest fear is will allow you to tackle it, will allow you to stop listening to the reasons, right? Reasons in your head as to why you can't do something, but underneath that is just fear. You're not going to believe a stupid reason, right? You're a smart person, so you're going to believe really smart reasons. So our brain comes up with really smart reasons why we can't do something, right? Oh, I can't make YouTube videos because I don't have the right gear and the right camera and the right phone and the right microphone and the right speech, and what's my topic going to be and what's the thumbnail going to be, and I don't know editing yet, and I don't know what to call it, and I don't know the description, and do tags still work? And you spend all this time researching and overanalyzing and overstressing because you want it to be perfect. And you've trained yourself that these are all really valid reasons until you believe it. But underneath all of that is really just fear. Your fear of it not working. You're afraid of that it will work and who will see it. You're afraid that it won't work and people won't see it. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of looking a certain way. It's just fear. It's just fear. The reason why you're not doing the thing that you want to do, you have goals, you have an ambition, you have a mission, you have a vision for what you want to create. And the reason why you're not doing it is because you're afraid. You're afraid of something. And we've convinced ourselves with logical reasons why you can't do it, but really you're just afraid. Underneath all of that is just fear. And if you can tackle the fear, all of a sudden the logical reasons go away. Because underneath it was just fear. You could start your YouTube video. You could. I'm sitting here in my car on my phone while Nina's in Costco. Look, can we see? Nina's in Costco. I'm sitting in the parking lot making this video. You know, it's just fear. And so when you can catch what the thing is that you're afraid of, that fear, I don't think that it goes away. It just shows up in bigger versions of it. So I'm still afraid of disappointing people, but it's just now on a bigger scale. The things that, you know, doing an interview, I'm not as afraid of anymore. Interviewing others, I'm not as afraid of anymore. Even this, like filming in public, I used to be terrified of doing this. I'm filming in public. Like there's like people, oh, I'm not gonna shoot because they're looking at me. People are packing up their cars and unloading their groceries, and I would always judge and worry like, oh, if I'm gonna do something outside, it should be like way at the back of the parking lot, because what if people walk past me and they're judging me and they're looking at me? I could never have done this, you know, however many years ago, and now we're here. So once you conquer that fear, it allows you to keep doing that same thing, but the same fear shows up on a bigger scale. So I'm not as afraid to do an interview, but I'm afraid to do an interview on a bigger show, or I'm afraid to go off and speak on a giant stage. And the trick is to catch the fear, not believe the excuse or the reasons why we can't do that thing, and teach yourself that you become the person who does the things that are scary. Your entire great life is on the other side of your fears. Everything that you want in life and the impact you want to have and the business you want to build and the money you want to make is on the other side of you taking on those fears. Because you've got the heart, you've got the passion, you've got the soul, you've got the desire to serve, you've got it all. You're just afraid. And that's normal. And that's okay. The trick is to not succumb to the fears, to rise up to them, to meet them head on, and go build the life that you want.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Good morning, guys. Today in our top 10 rules for success, Jack Ma shares his first rule, and this is a huge one. He says, get used to rejection. And he's a guy who exemplified and personified this. He went through so many different rejections in getting to where he is now. One of the things he said is he got rejected from Harvard 10 times, and then his attitude was, I should go teach there. That's the spirit. That's what the spirit we want to capture. We want to get used to rejection. We want to get used to failure only in the sense that we're adding it to our fuel and desire to learn from it and eventually get to where we want to be, to show that determination. And we all have it in us. So learn from Jack Ma, learn from all the greats that we're reading about. You know, it's all up to you. So the way you look at your failure is going to determine whether or not you get to where you want to get to. Have a great day, everybody.
I started getting all kinds of questions from people around the world who were either wanting to try the high five habit or had started and had a bunch of questions. How exactly do I start doing it? The high five habit is a moment every morning just for you. It has 2 simple but powerful steps. Number 1, standing in front of the mirror, just be with yourself for a second. Don't focus on your appearance. Go deeper. I want you to see the person who's inside that body, the spirit beneath the skin, the soul behind that face. Then, when you feel ready, you're going to high five yourself in the mirror. Notice when you first do it, how your mind goes quiet. You might feel a boost of energy. You might feel a sense of comfort. It'll be okay. You might think, I got this. This is a powerful moment. Without saying a word, you're telling yourself, I love you, I see you, I believe in you, let's go. Don't rush it. Revel in it. This moment, it's for you.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got so much more inside you. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn 7 habits that will change your life. Enjoy. Habit number 2, stop holding yourself back with Simon Sinek.
The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It is incapable. Yes, it's true. I'll give you an example.
I believe you, actually.
Okay? No, I'll give you an example. You don't have to believe me. I'll prove it. I'll prove it. Okay? The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. You ready? Don't think of an elephant. Ah. Yeah, I know. You can't tell the human brain not to do something, right? And so what happens is we very often reinforce things when we put things in the negative, right? I can't get apart. I can't get apart. I can't get apart, right? Or I can't do this versus I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this, right? And it's such a huge thing to convert things into the affirmative. You're supposed to do it with children as well. We're supposed to say, instead of saying to children, don't eat on the couch, we're supposed to say, eat at the table. Right? We tell people what we want them to do, not what we don't want to do. Pilots know this, right? It is well known in the pilot community that when you tell a pilot, don't hit the obstacle, they'll hit the obstacle. Because what they're doing is focusing on the obstacle. Skiers know this. If you ever seen skiers go through trees, do you know how they do that? It's very easy. It's actually surprisingly easy. If you go through trees on skis and you go, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, guess what you're watching? You're only looking at trees. All you're doing is seeing trees. You don't understand how anyone can ski with all these trees, right? As opposed to follow the snow, follow the path, follow the path. The only thing you see is the path. Skiers know this. If you say don't hit a tree, you'll hit a tree. You won't be able to find a path because all you see is millions of trees. If you say only follow the path, you actually don't see any trees. There's actually very sparse trees. There's plenty of path, there's plenty of snow. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. If you focus on the path through the trees, all you will see is path through the trees. It's your choice how you choose to perceive your own career. It's literally perspective.
Habit number 3, reset your mindset with Lisa Nichols.
So, when you think about resetting your mind, we're always committed to moving forward, sometimes prematurely. In order to reset your mind to think abundantly or to live abundantly, you first have to identify where you're currently thinking in scarcity, which we don't like to spend any time there because it's not fun. So, and you can't, to me, one of the number one ways to avoid, in a sexy way, avoid transformation is to generalize too much. Like, oh, my life. Oh, your life is so big. What areas of your life are you currently thinking in scarcity? Oh, in my relationships, what part of your relationship? There's 4 different types of relationships. There's romantic, there's family, there's colleague, and there's community. In what areas? My finances. What kind of finances? Your income or your outflow? Your debt management or your wealth building? So the number one way you push past a limiting belief system is that you identify where it's limited. And it's almost like going to the doctor saying, Doc, my left arm really hurts. He's not just going to start working on the arm, he's going to say, where? Well, the upper part. Well, where in the upper part? Well, over here between the elbow and the shoulder. Well, where between doctors will ask you so many detailed questions so that they can go exactly to where the pain point is and relieve the pain. Treat your mindset that way as well. So when you're reaching for a more abundant way of thinking, start by saying, what frame of thinking, what mindset, what part of my mindset, what belief system must I evict to create space? Let me give you another example. Your hand. Your hand can only hold on to so much, right? So if your hand is already full of limiting thoughts, I'm not good enough, I'll never have wealth, money is difficult to create, I'm always going to be overweight, people can't be trusted. If your hand is already full with limiting beliefs, how can you dare hold on to an abundant way of thinking? So first, let's dismantle this truth. Let's dismantle the truth that money is hard to make. So in the past, I made money hard to make. Money is abundant. There's enough for all of us. Money is simply a tool. Money is just dirty paper. It's a team member. Money is not the end all. Money gives you access to better memories. Okay, great. Let's work on that. And now let's work on I'll always be broke or whatever the mindset is, right? And the reality is, no, if you want to have more money coming in or you want to have more money in your bank account, then keep more than you spend. So how can we do that? So you have to be willing to be mildly to moderately to significantly inconvenienced possibly in order to keep more than you spend, possibly. Or you want to grow your top line and get more revenue. You want to create, you might lose a little sleep. You might not be able to go out to as many parties. You might not be able to spend as much on your clothes, but you want to bring in more than you spend. So financial struggle is not imminent. Now, I'm not saying it's not difficult at times. I've been there, but it's not imminent. It's not your destiny. So notice how I can go and I can dismantle each belief system, even if you don't believe this new truth yet, which I've given you plenty of exercises around adopting a new mindset. You can't visit a new mindset. You got to go to a new mindset. You got to park. And you got to constantly revisit that mindset called possibility. So when you talk about how do I shift my mindset to abundant thinking, first, evict the negative thinking. Now, that's not an overnight thing. Like download, it's evicted. There's no sprinkle fairy dust in this journey. There's no magic potion. There's no magic wand. This is a ongoing, it's like a muscle. It's like your abs. It's like your triceps and your biceps. I've talked about that before. You got to build that muscle, but you first have to identify what muscle do I want to build. I want to build a belief system around financial abundance in my life. Go that laser. I want to build the belief system around love, a healthy love relationship for me. Okay, then go there. Energy grows where energy goes, right? So what do you need to know and learn? Whenever I want to take on a new belief system, first I spend time identifying my current limiting belief system in that area. It's ugly, it's uncomfortable, I unpack it. Then the second thing you do is identify the results that that limiting belief system has brought into your life. Now that really isn't fun. It's funky. It feels like you're sludging through the mud. You start feeling like an idiot. You feel like a nut. You're like, who am I? I'm brilliant in this area. How could I still be thinking this? Because you're normal, you're human, and humans are full of imperfections. Oh, and we're managing our dysfunction. That's just who we are. There's no perfect human, right? So what has it created in your life? What does it cost you? Because I think when you become really clear of the cost, then you become really clear that you don't want to pay that cost again. I think we continue to go in the same circle and end up in the same place, different day, different year, different relationship, different bank account, because we haven't identified what has this behavior, what has this mindset cost me. But when you stop for a moment and go, here's my limiting belief system, and here's what it's cost me. Okay, I'm done with that. Now we can go to an abundant mindset. I think people try to run past those first two way too fast and hold on to an abundant mindset, and it doesn't last because they haven't become clear of the toxic limiting mindset and its cost. So they slingshot back to that place that they had started before and end up asking the question, how did I end up here again? Right? We've all said that. I've asked that question a little over 100 times, right? And so I think those are the first two steps. And then the third thing is to surround yourself in a tribe of people that inspire you to stand on your tippy toes by who they are being. And in order for you to stay in their proximity, you need to innately grow who you are in order for you. Now, they don't use it as a doorway or pathway or rites of passage, but in order for you to feel comfortable in their presence, you got to tippy toe naturally. They even make you nervous when you're around them. I have that. I have a circle of friends who I go, and I've had that circle of friends for, 15, 16 years, and I keep going around them, and I always feel nauseous, and they always make me feel like I want to tippy toe, and they've helped to make me a better woman. They didn't design it, they didn't craft it, they didn't tell me what to do, just being in their presence. And oh, by the way, I paid to be in their presence. I consistently pay to be in their presence. I don't have any formal business with them, just being their friends make me nervous. Because they play so big in the world, they serve so big in the world, they give so big in the world, they at a cellular level, they are transformation, like they're the real deal. And so I want to stay in their presence, so I maintain my level of work. And so those are the three things that you do to go from a limiting belief system, mindset, to a mindset of abundance. That's the beginning. There are a lot of things in between, but those are the big anchors that I recommend. Remember, this show is not a monologue. It's not a monologue. It's a dialogue. It's a dynamic conversation between you and I. So that means I would love to hear from you. What's your biggest lesson that you learned from this particular episode? What was an area in your life you realized that mindset, I need to up-level that mindset in that area to thinking, limited thinking, to a thought of abundance, a lifestyle of abundance in that particular area.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Habit number 4, reinvent yourself with Todd Herman.
I say this to people all the time. Human beings are not oak trees. An oak tree will always be an oak tree. An acorn will always grow into an oak tree. Human beings are not trees. We get to reinvent ourselves at any moment in time. You could be living through the narrative in your own head of a wounded individual because of stuff that happened to you when you were young. You didn't get to choose that upbringing. You didn't get to choose the environment that you grew up in. But is that really who you are? That's not who you are. That's stuff that happened to this person that's been experiencing life, but you can reinvent. And so there's a lot of great platitudes and cliches that are out there, but I'm a performance guy. I'm on the field of play with people all the time. That's why I love your stuff is it's practical and it's pragmatic, right? Like it has to be proven under the weight of practical application. And so I hear people saying, be your authentic self and be your best self. And it's like wonderful platitudes, but what do you even mean?
Yes.
And that's because none of these people have been paid money to coach people, help them develop a best self, develop a more authentic and real version of how they could actually perform. And so for me, the reason I built up my name in pro sports was I became known as the quick hit guy. Like I'm the guy that you called in when you were competing at Flushing Meadows at the US Open on Saturday and it was Wednesday and you'd been under indexing all season long and you're in a rut. But I was happy to take on that moniker, wear that hat, because I came in and I could work with you at the identity level. Because the moment you change someone's identity, everything changes with it. While everyone else is worried about habits and behaviors, wonderful tools to have, of course.
Of course.
But if you want to change fast, and if you want to make a change permanent, change someone's identity, because the way that you associate with yourself is how the world associates with you.
Habit number 5, change your thermostat setting with Ed Milet.
Change the thoughts, beliefs, concepts, and value we hold to ourselves. We will cool or heat our life back to that regulated temperature. And so I'm telling you, the overall key to changing the external conditions of your life is changing that internal thermostat setting. So that's what we're going to talk about, some strategies on today. Just being aware that you need to alter the thermostat is a life-changing, liberating condition. What you need to be doing is becoming aware of how important it is that you adjust this thermostat setting as you produce better results, as you start to learn new skills and strategies and tactics. See, you can move from an average business into an extraordinary business with incredible opportunity, but you will produce the same results you're getting in the average business if you don't change that thermostat setting up to 95 or 100 or 120 degrees of what you believe you're worth, the thoughts, concepts, and beliefs you hold true to be about yourself. So it is the regulator on our lives, and it's the main thing I work on with my private coaching, with some of the elite performers I work with in business and athletics, in entertainment and politics, is me working with them on changing that internal thermostat where we can heat it higher and higher and higher so that they can produce the results and the conditions of their life, stay and exceed those levels all the time. In fact, in my own life, I'm always working on my self-confidence. I'm working on my tactics and strategies, my ability to influence, right? My thoughts, all of those different things. But the thing I'm most obsessed about that I know is going to get me to the ultimate version of me is constantly elevating the temperature in the areas that matter to me, adjusting that thermostat setting higher and higher and higher and higher so that I can get those conditions to match it, because it always will. You will always get your thermostat setting, always in your life.
Habit number 6, keep your mind healthy with Brian Tracy.
I want you to take a moment to answer the following question. What are you doing today to keep your brain healthy and active? If you're like most people, you are more than willing to spend hours each week focusing on developing a strong and flexible physical body, but fail to devote any time to actively seeking out ways to improve your mental fitness. Cultivating a keen and active mind is key to unlocking a more satisfying and meaningful life in every area. Maintaining a healthy mind is essential for improving your productivity, strengthening your personal and professional relationships, and finally, realizing your best self. Building your brain and keeping your mind healthy is critical, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Here are 6 actionable suggestions that can help you get started today, making your mind as sharp as a razor. First, Read as much positive material as you can. Your brain craves new ideas and stimulation, and reading is one of the best ways to explore them. While there are endless topics you can explore by reading, it's necessary to keep the majority of the material as positive and inspirational as possible. You must really enjoy what you're reading. Continuously exposing yourself to reading material which is pessimistic or causes you to become agitated, like lots of stuff in the newspapers today, will have an overall negative effect on your mental state. This means instead of obsessing over depressing news articles, pick up an inspiring biography or a nonfiction book in your field of interest. Next, exercise. Study after study has proven that there is a direct correlation between physical exercise and mental well-being. Exercise can help to reduce stress and alleviate feelings of depression, along with boosting positivity, aiding self-esteem, and even improving cognitive thinking. The good news is that even moderate aerobic exercises like walking or jogging or swimming can have a tremendous effect on the way you feel mentally. All it takes is 30 minutes of exercises a couple of times a week to start to see results. If you can't squeeze a full 30 minutes of exercise into your schedule, don't worry about it. Even doing aerobic exercises for as little as 10 minutes at a time is really beneficial. Next, practice affirmations. By using affirmations on a daily basis, you can counteract some of the overwhelming negativity in the world around you and create a more optimistic outlook for yourself. Your subconscious mind makes everything you say and do fit a pattern consistent with your self-concept, your master program. Research has shown that through the simple act of making positive statements about yourself, to yourself, you can reprogram your brain to overcome unhealthy habits and increase your productivity and control harmful emotions. You can find many affirmations online, but the most powerful ones are those you create by yourself. Think of an area of your life that you would like to change, and then choose an achievable outcome that you want to reach. Frame your desired outcome in a short present tense statement and repeat it to yourself throughout the day. Let me give you a couple of examples. The most powerful affirmation of all is the affirmation, I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. I learned that fully 40 years ago, and I was just remarkable. I was shocked. I never heard it before, and the instructor had everybody in the room say it, and today I have everybody in my room say it all over the world in now 50 or 60 languages. I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. Because the more you like yourself, the more you like everyone around you, the more you like your work, the more you like your activities, the more open-minded and optimistic you are. Try it. Another one that you can say is, I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. I always tell my children that they're the best. And soon they start to say to themselves, I'm the best. I'm really good. Perhaps the best of all is, I can do it. I can do it. I can do anything I put my mind to. I'm not afraid of anything. I can do anything I put my mind to. And finally, which I really love, is the words, I love my work. I love my work. I like myself and I love my work. Get yourself pumped, almost like mental exercise. Get the blood moving. I like myself. I love my work. I like myself. I love my work. And you'll be astonished at how much better you feel and how much better you do your work. Just give it a try. My rule throughout my career has been that you only need to try one of my recommendations once to find out if it works or not. You don't have to practice for 6 months. Just do it once and you'll experience the change. And then you'll start to do it over and over again, because once you experience the change, you will be motivated to do it again. My first instructor in personal development said, with affirmations, your future is unlimited. I never forgot those words. I wrote them down and I rewrote them and I read them and reread them. With affirmations, talking to yourself in a positive way, your future is unlimited. Develop good habits. Are your habits holding you back and causing you to feel bad about yourself? Or are your habits pushing you forward and causing you to feel great about yourself? Almost everyone has at least one bad habit that he or she wishes that he or she could quit, whether it's procrastination or self-doubt or the propensity to blame others when things go wrong or badly. Harmful practices are a significant drain on your mental health. Despite the negative impact of these self-destructive habits, overcoming them can often be a real struggle. One method many successful people use or find helpful is replacing a bad habit with a good habit. So instead of just committing to stop fearing rejection in social situations, work on developing an exceedingly gregarious and outgoing personality by setting goals and working every day toward them. An important point about setting goals is this, is when you set a goal and you start working toward it, not only do you feel like a winner when you achieve the goal, which you will do if you don't give up, but you feel like a winner every step of the way. You feel happy and positive and good about yourself every step of the way. Fifth, eat healthy foods. Maintaining a healthy mind necessitates having a healthy diet and lifestyle. Throw out the junk food in the cupboard and stick to eating real foods. Many people experience positive mental health when they eliminate saturated fats and sugar from their diet. Finally, set goals with deadlines and work towards them. This is my favorite of all. Standing still, not making any progress, is almost worse than failing when you do start off. At least if you tried to meet the challenge and failed, you probably learned something valuable about yourself. Whenever you make a mistake of any kind, simply ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn that will help myself to be better in the future? Keep your mind focused on the positive part of what you just did, and the negative part will just kind of disappear. The fear of failure is the biggest single enemy of personal success for you or me or anyone else. It's often petrifying enough to cause you to avoid completing projects or even having the confidence to start one in the first place. A positive way of overcoming this mental self-paralysis is to create SMART goals. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bounded. If you have a long-term project, use what is called the checklist manifesto. You take the long-term project and you break it down into a list of smaller, easier to finish tasks. You organize the list by what you do first, what you do second, what you do third, and then you begin on number one. Once you break out all of the tasks you need to do to complete a project, identify the most important tasks and start on those. Make sure that you set deadlines for each task as well as for the completion of the entire project or goal. Your mental health is critical to leading the life that you deserve. Start making the changes that you need to improve it today.
And habit number 7, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is become truly productive with Jay Shetty.
If I want to be productive and effective, these are the 6 habits that I don't negotiate with no matter what. The first thing I do in the morning is avoid looking at my phone. Now, it wasn't always that way. The first thing I used to do was reach over, open up my WhatsApp, my emails, my social media, my news feed, and get lost in the notifications, the noise, and potentially the negativity that it brought with it. At one point, I used to lock my phone and my laptop and all my other devices in my car outside just to get out of this habit. I had bought myself a real alarm clock, which I used to use, and that was the way I trained myself out of grabbing my phone first thing in the morning. Now, one of my favorite things that I do now is that I have this little post-it note that I keep next to my bedside table, and on it, it says, "What are you grateful for?" And that message starts my day with a different thought. Studies have shown that when you're present in gratitude, you can't be anywhere else. So when you're having a grateful thought, you can't have an anxious thought. When you're having a grateful thought, you can't have a negative thought. And so it's so powerful to start your day. So grab a Post-it, grab a Sharpie, and write a question on it that you want to answer first thing in the morning. Now you'll be able to tell that I like Post-its because as I brush my teeth, I have this Post-it, and I got into the habit of this when I lived as a monk, where I'd put it in front of me, and on it says, I am awareness. This is one of my favorite affirmations to start the day with. I recommend this to clients, to people I'm working with, because when you start with that mindset, you disassociate and disconnect with the thought of I am the body or I am my mind. And if you think about it, we always say my mind and my body. And spiritual teachings suggest that we are actually awareness, consciousness. And so that reminder at the beginning of the day sets me up to now look at my life as an observer, to look at interactions as an observer, to approach relationships from that slightly distant view so that I can actually approach them with the love, compassion, the empathy that naturally comes from the consciousness. Post-its are great, different colors are great, go crazy and use Post-its anywhere in your home to remind you of powerful mindset shifts. A few years ago, I started to realize that my favorite thing to do in every day was to learn. But when my days got busy with multiple podcast recordings, multiple meetings, Zoom meetings, phone calls, the first thing that went out of the window was learning. Because it becomes harder to spend time with a book. It becomes more difficult to listen to a podcast. And I'm sure some of you agree with this, or many of you have had this experience. And that was until I discovered Blinkist. What I love about Blinkist as an app is that it condenses over 4,000 nonfiction books into 15-minute reads. So I can browse so many different topics. And as you can see from this, I'm pretty much interested in everything it has to offer. It's awesome to have this breadth and depth in one place. And it makes it so simple to synthesize the book into these blinks. So I can read or focus on a particular chapter. It gives me a key takeaway and message that I can focus on and think about throughout the day. And I don't feel that any day is wasted without that feeling of curiosity, intrigue, and learning. Thich Nhat Hanh is one of my favorite authors, and this book, The Art of Living, is one of my favorites. So this app allows me to revisit books that I love. It allows me to extract the key messages and the essence that I want to apply into my life. And that's often what I'm looking for is, what's an idea that I can read and take from a book and actually try and put into practice and live that day. This app has been a game changer for me in my day, and I'm so grateful to be partnering with them because it's allowed me to make sure I'm always learning, whether I'm in the back of an Uber, a car, whether I'm in an elevator, whether I'm walking around throughout the day. It's a great way for me to always be learning. The next habit has a lot of different conflicting views, and I know everyone has their opinions about this, but for me personally, it's been a habit that has changed the way I feel. It's the controversial celery juice. Now, I was introduced to the idea of celery juice from multiple podcast interviews I did and articles I read, and I started the practice to hopefully allow me to reduce inflammation and better my gut health. And for me, since I started doing this in January 2020, it's been an incredibly helpful practice. I feel a sense of lightness, I feel more vibrant, I feel cleansed every time I have my juice. And it's been a game changer. It truly, truly has. So if I'm tired in a day, if I'm feeling that afternoon lull, if I'm feeling a bit de-energized, I know that having a celery juice is a healthy way of feeling reinvigorated. Now, it's something that I recommend you try and give a go because it could be a game changer for you as well. Journaling can often be seen as a habit that wastes time. You're sitting there writing when you could be doing something. But I find setting your intention and setting your desire for the day is a much more powerful and practical way to now walk into your day and feel like you know why you're there. to feel a sense of purpose. And so for me, setting an intention before a big meeting, before a difficult phone call, before an awkward conversation reminds me of who I want to be in that interaction. And that remembrance, that confidence, and clarity around who I want to be allows me to navigate those seemingly difficult, awkward moments that naturally arise throughout the day. So this is a time that I take, and as you can see from my notes, none of these are beautiful, none of these are perfect, none of these are fully aligned. They are scattered, spontaneous, sometimes random thoughts, and I allow myself to doodle, squiggle, whatever it takes, because that allows me to feel that it's free flowing. Stop trying to make it perfect. Stop trying to make it look amazing. Just make it the way it allows you to feel like you have a window into your mind. And so when I look at these notes, I sometimes think I'm just allowing myself to express what's on my mind right now. When I'm having a productive, effective day, that doesn't mean I don't get distracted. I get distracted plenty of times. I have tons of notifications, social media, big announcements, things that are happening throughout the day, plus a team across the world in different time zones to manage. So when I get distracted, I've created a really healthy relationship with distraction. I feel like sometimes our relationship with distraction is quite negative. We see it as a bad thing. We judge ourselves for feeling distracted. We start saying, oh, I wish I was more focused, or I wish I was more effective. So I literally got one of these distraction timers, as I call it, and I turn it over as soon as I get distracted. I let the sand run out, and as soon as it runs out, I have to get back to my task. This gives me the space and the time to allow for little distractions, and now I've figured out a way to allow myself 5 minutes of distraction time every hour. So every hour I allow myself to browse on my phone for 2 to 5 minutes, and that way I know that that time is going to happen, that time is going to come, and that allows me to delay it, to put it off, and to postpone my own distraction.